Welcome back. Now, the British High Commission's Windhoek office has organised a UK-Namibia trade webinar taking place today. The purpose of this webinar is to unpack the trade partnerships between the UK and Namibia post-EU departure and highlight opportunities for increased trade. Joining me now, ahead of this webinar, is British High Commissioner to Namibia, Mr. Charles Moore. Good morning, Mr. Moore.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you doing this morning?
Very well, thank you.
So firstly, welcome to Good Morning Namibia. And then how would you describe your first few months in office?
Well, it's been challenging because of COVID, but I'm delighted to be in Namibia. I've been here about 6 months now. I've managed to see quite a lot of the country, and I've been struck by its stunning beauty and the warm hospitality of Namibians. I had a very warm welcome from the government of Namibia, and we have a very good relationship with them. And of course, it's a photographer's paradise. I love photography, and the scenery, the bird life, the wildlife is spectacular here. So it's a delightful place to be.
It's good to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you're loving being in Namibia so far. Now, you are hosting a webinar on trade and investment post-EU departure. How has the UK fared since leaving the European Union?
Well, it's still relatively early days. I mean, leaving the EU was a long and complex process.
Yeah.
Probably more complex than any of us could have imagined at the time of the referendum. However, I mean, we're very positive about the future. You know, we're now an independent trading nation. We can make our own trade agreements with countries around the world, and we can determine our own path in terms of trade and trying to liberalize trade around the world, and especially in Africa.
Yeah. Now let's look at the fact that since leaving the UK, the EU, my apologies rather, the UK outlook on trade is expected to shrink in the longer term. Is the bolstering of old and the founding of new trade deals the answer to this? And what is the UK's trade capacity?
Well, I think it is still early days, having left the EU. But I mean, in May, our trade with the EU rose by 8%, which is very positive. We've established trade agreements with 68 countries around the world, 16 countries across Africa, including the Southern African Customs Union and Mozambique. And so, we're actually quite optimistic about trade. Of course, the world has been pretty much closed for the last 18 months. Once the world opens up again post-COVID, we're very optimistic that we can advance our trade relationships around the world more proactively. And that's partly what this webinar is designed to do. It's designed to get us ready for enhancing bilateral trade between the UK and Namibia once we come out of COVID.
Yeah. Now, speaking about the 16 countries that you've mentioned, deals with the 16 countries, I want to look at the African Continental Free Trade Area, something that we as Africans are very, very excited about. Do you see the UK taking advantage of this free continental trade area?
Yes, indeed. I mean, we've been a great supporter of the trade agreement, and we supported that through our African Union support. It's beneficial for all countries to have preferential access across the continent, and the common African market is going to offer UK businesses excellent trade and investment opportunities. So I think it's a very positive development.
Yeah, let's look at the webinar that will be hosted. What are the advantages or benefits there are for the Namibian as well as British business people?
Well, it's because leaving the EU was quite complex. We thought it was a good idea to clarify to Namibian businesses specifically what it means, what our trade policies are, how they can trade with the UK. This is for new exporters as well as existing ones. It also hopes to engage UK businesses and show them Namibia and showcase the trade opportunities and investment opportunities that exist here, which are plentiful. And so it's bringing the two sides together. It's introducing us in terms of what we can do to help people trade with the UK.
Yeah. Now, we were under the impression that you did engage the CEO of the Namibia Investment and Promotion Development Board. What came out of these deliberations?
Well, I think the Investment Promotion Development Board is a great body. I think it was very welcome that it was established and expanded within the President's office. I've met with the CEO a couple of times, and I think she's delightful and energetic and enthusiastic. Precisely the qualities that a country needs when trying to attract investment. And so we're very keen to work together and to keep engaged. And I think the key thing is for the board to produce a comprehensive, realistic portfolio of investment opportunities in Namibia, so that we can promote that to UK potential investors and hopefully get some more investment in Namibia.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Moore, one of the issues that I think is no secret is that Namibia has been struggling with the vaccine rollout. And I think that this, if we could do this more effectively, it would benefit the trade relations between the UK and Namibia as well. What is your take on this issue that we're facing?
Yeah, well, I think Namibia has been hit, like the rest of the world. Everybody has been hit hard by COVID, and Namibia has been particularly hard hit during the third wave. Yeah. Which has brought a lot of things to a standstill and made it much more difficult for certainly trade to happen. And I think vaccine take-up started off slowly. I think there was lots of disinformation. There was some complacency, I think, in Namibia about COVID. And I think campaigns like the Ministry of Health and the First Lady have been instrumental in encouraging people to get vaccinated, and anybody who hasn't been vaccinated, I would strongly recommend it. And I think now we're seeing the figures turning around a little bit. Yeah. But I think people eventually got scared by the huge rise in cases and deaths. I have a fantastic team at the High Commission. I think not one of them has been spared the loss of a relative or a friend or a loved one from this dreadful disease. So it's really important for people to get vaccinated, and that will allow us to open up and expand on trade and investment and tourism, which is so important to Namibia.
Yeah. Mr. Moore, do you think that we could actually be doing more with regards to driving the vaccination rollout? I know you did mention that at least so far people are being vaccinated. Some offices, like the Office of the First Lady, have been driving campaigns, but could we do more?
Well, I think it's about encouraging people to realize the benefits of being vaccinated. Yeah. And it's not just about protecting them, it's about protecting others. So some people shouldn't necessarily get vaccinated just for themselves, but they should get vaccinated to protect others as well. And I think the public opinion has changed over the past few months, and I think that's why we've seen an increase in the uptake of vaccines, which is encouraging. And the figures speak for themselves, really, that nobody has died as a result of being vaccinated. Yeah. Nobody's died having caught COVID having been vaccinated. And so the benefits are clear. And it's only when everybody is safe that we're all going to be safe from COVID and allow us to get on with our lives again.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, going back to the trade webinar that's taking place today, could you give us some details on this? What time is it taking place, etc.? What can we expect and what not?
Certainly, yeah. It's taking place at 11 o'clock. Registrations unfortunately closed yesterday, but we do have over 200 participants registered for the event. We'll be bringing together UK and Namibian businesses. We will have Her Majesty's Trade Commissioner, who's in Pretoria. She'll be giving the keynote address in terms of trade in Africa and particularly Namibia and this region following our departure from the EU. We'll be talking about Trade Forward Southern Africa and the economic partnership agreement with the SACU and Mozambique area. We'll be looking at the trade policy that the UK has now, so that people understand the complexities, but also the advantages of trading with the UK. And it's sort of introductory as well, so that we can. This is the start of a conversation, not the end of it.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation we hope to keep going certainly for several years as we increase the bilateral trade relationship. And I should say I'm co-hosting this with my colleague, who's the Namibian High Commissioner to London, Her Excellency Linda Scott. We're working very closely together, and it's delightful to work. The two of us together, so that we're working at both ends to increase bilateral trade. And so I'm delighted that we're co-hosting this together.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Moore. To conclude our interview this morning, any final remarks for our viewers?
No, well, I'm very much looking forward to spending 3 or 4 years here in Namibia. It's a country I've wanted to come to for many years. And as well as promoting the UK and Namibia, I'm very keen to promote Namibia in the UK as well, because I think many more people need to know about this beautiful country. Increasing trade and investment and tourism is obviously a key part of my role, but also I want to be closely supportive of the government in addressing social issues such as gender-based violence and corruption, education, media freedom, where Namibia is almost the birthplace of media freedom, climate change, challenging issues around that, and the UK is hosting COP26 in November. Commonwealth issues are very high on my agenda. And the Commonwealth Games being hosted in the UK next year. So it's a busy agenda over the coming months and years, and I very much look forward to it. But I'm very grateful to all the people that I've met in Namibia so far for giving me such a very warm welcome, and I very much look forward to the next few years.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Moore. Thank you so much for joining us. All the best with your term, and I hope you have a blessed day ahead, sir.
Thank you, and I hope next time we'll be able to meet physically in the studio.
Absolutely,
and, I look forward to the good food that one of your previous interviewees mentioned.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. All right, so there you have it. That's Mr. Charles Moore, who's the British High Commissioner to Namibia, just speaking to us about the trade webinar that will be taking place today. But please do stay tuned. We'll be right back with more interviews after this break.